Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. Did you see what Trump's back at it again? He wished happy Father's Day to the losers and rhinos of his party. You gotta love old Trump. You know, I can't believe, and I apologize to Bulldog Nation for this because I like to stay on top of everything and cover all the best. And I had it on my list and somehow it got off the list. But I just want to apologize that I did not make fun of Joe Biden's 16 sectors that are off limits to cyber attacks that he told Putin. Because, I mean, this is beyond comical. Can you imagine the President of the United States, which Joe Biden is, telling Russia, now these are the 16 sectors you can't cyber attack. It's okay if you cyber attack all the others. I mean, you've already heard all this stuff, but it's just absurd. I mean, really. Instead of saying, you better not cyber attack us, period. No. Now, these are the 13 that you're not allowed to, but you can the others. And speaking of cyber attack, Bill Maher has been like a cyber attack upon the Democrats. He says, now you know why everybody hates the Democrats. He says it's never good enough for them. And he used the phrase progressivophobia. I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right. Not to mention the fact the business he's in is susceptible to the cancel woke mob. But he says, now you know why nobody likes the Democrats. That's coming out of Bill Maher's mouth. Chicago Bears. This is interesting. The Chicago Bears have been rattling the horn a little bit about possibly moving, citing Chicago's violence in the South Side. How do you like that? Old Lori Lightfoot, what do you do now? Think about that. Chicago Bears leave Chicago? I think it must be a bluff, but that is like earthquaking in the world of Chicago. The Bears leave? Way to go, Lori Lightfoot. Did you hear about this? $180 a week is going to be offered to people to go look for a job. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend called from Emerson. And Emerson actually wrote a book called Self-Reliance. And don't hold on to your pain and wait for it to work itself. Get up and do something. And Emerson talked about how important work was over anything else. Work, work, work to solve your ills. And we have a government that wants to pay $180 to get people to go out and work. Remember, I've been talking about self-reliance for a long, long, long time. Then there was a story about Emerson in the Wall Street Journal about it. That's what America's supposed to be, self-reliant, not paid to go get a job. If you don't work, you go hungry. It's your problem. Juneteenth crime. Everybody's out there jumping up and down how wonderful Juneteenth is. Everybody's trying to be politically correct. Well, along came Juneteenth, more crime. More black gangsters. Let's go out and shoot somebody, man. It's Juneteenth. They won't arrest us on this day. It goes on and on and on. Joe Biden has reversed a Trump order, and 4,000 vets are going to have the federal government, meaning yours or my tax dollars, to pay for their transgender surgeries. Can you imagine how much one of those surgeries cost? And the taxpayers got to flip the bill? It's so effed up. So effed up. American Airlines had to cancel over 300 flights. Why? Pilot shortages. Pilots have probably had enough too. They're getting paid whether they go to work too. Crazy. Pride parade crash. Immediately the Democratic mayor said, oh, this was an act of terrorism. Turns out the person who crashed in the gay pride parade was a member of the gay pride community. Must have been pissed off about something. Refund the police is catching hold across the country because obviously defund the police doesn't work. By the way, what kind of a jackwagon analyzes a situation and thinks, defunding the police will be good for our city? Yeah, they'll be if we get rid of police officers, there'll be less crime. Who thinks like that? Only they do. Blood shortage, another ripple effect of the great pandemic and the COVID pandemic, is blood shortage. The Red Cross is reporting blood shortages anywhere and everywhere because for obvious reasons. So get out there and donate some blood. California forests. Remember when Trump said California has caused all of this problem themselves because they don't properly deforest the underneath of the forest? Well, guess what? California just passed $500 million funding to do exactly what Trump said should have been done. Unbelievable. Dropping of riot charges. This is going on all across the country. More black privilege. These woke privilege. Charges being dropped left and right. Sanctioning rioting. By the way, let's follow that logic. If we drop all these charges of all the rioters and looters, they won't do it again. That's the way they think. Coronavirus variant. Fauci says if you get vaccinated, you probably won't have a concern. Going to use that to get the vaccine. And Joe Biden says we probably won't have a lockdown over the variant. Oh, really, Joe? Really? You think any of these people would be saying this if Trump was president, he won re-election? I'd be all lockdown, lockdown. And you know what? We now know why Fauci didn't want the investigation to go on the origin of Wuhan, because he didn't want it revealed that he was behind some of the funding, what they were doing. Big freaking cover-up. It's a crime of the... Not the crime of the century, crime in history. IRS denies a Christian organization exemption because they said the Republican Party has these same views of lower taxes and religious beliefs. That going to church is all part. Do you believe it? They don't get a tax exemption because their beliefs are in lockstep. See what happens when the left takes over the IRS again? It's what happens. California, it's come out that California colluded with Twitter against Trump. A whole state. Of course, we know that because members of the American Communist Party do that together. 4 final things that I want to cover. First, lockdowns. The statistics are coming that clearly show that the lockdowns hurt the poor the most. Sad. All the while they're acting like they're looking out for you. Number 2, inflation hurts the poor the most. That's a given, that's obvious. Yet they're trying to act like they're looking out for you. Higher interest rates, which are coming, hurt the poor the most because they're the ones that have a harder time getting loans. Then higher taxes, which are coming, hurt the poor the most because anybody that has to pay those taxes, pass those taxes on to the consumer. It's really sad, all 4 of those points. One final thing I got to bring up. Somebody brought up to me this gender thing, and it's just hysterical to think about it. What are we going to call Girl Scouts in the future? Are they going to be non-gender Scout cookies? Somebody brought up John and Jane Doe. Is it just going to be Doe? Then I came up with this morning walking in here. You know, lawyers always go, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Are you not going to be able to say ladies and gentlemen? Trust me, the legal system is very woke. You can't say ladies and gentlemen. And then the other thing is, why do we always have gender and race on a job application? Why is that? And are we going to no longer have gender on job applications? So you get an application, you don't know if it's a man, if it's a woman, or if it's a he, she. Who knows? This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great Monday.